Let's talk about a very important and also kind of sad figure in the history of paleontology and also LGBTQ history. This is Franz Nopcsa, and I cannot for the life of me figure out how to pronounce this name. This here, which I will put in post-editing, is his full name. I'm just gonna call him Franz, because I know for a fact I'm gonna butcher anything else. Franz was born in 1877 on May 3rd, which is, fun fact, a day after my birthday, and he was Romanian nobility, a baron to be specific, but that was kind of before Transylvania was owned by Romania and was kind of its own thing. He studied at the University of Vienna and has a lot of natural history and geology background. He got a PhD in geology at a very young age, and during the First World War, he was sent to Albania, which then was part of the Ottoman Empire, as a spy. And he did a lot of very important spy work on the Ottoman Empire for his country of Transylvania. While he was there, he did a lot of geographical and geological work and became one of the first people to actually fully map out Albania. And when he was in Albania, he met his secretary, who was absolutely, definitely his lover. His lover was named, again, I don't have a hope of pronouncing his full name, but his last name was Doda, so we're going to call him Doda, and he was hired as Franz's secretary. They did a whole lot of traveling together. They did a motorcycle journey throughout most of Europe doing fossil and paleontology work, and that's where we get into his very, very significant contributions to paleontology. Franz is one of the pioneers in paleobiology, which is kind of studying dinosaurs as animals instead of rocks and bones. He was described as being one of the first people to put flesh on the bones of dinosaurs and again study them as actual animals. And again, one of the things he was most known for was the discovery of dwarf dinosaurs. He found, especially on his estate at a very young age, there was a just shit ton of fossils. He found so many fossils on his estate in Transylvania, and he brought them to the university, and they were studied, and they were found to be much, much smaller than pretty much any other fossils that they had on hand at the time. And this was true of almost every fossil that was discovered in that area. At first, people thought that they were just juveniles, but the bone density and growth patterns show that they were fully grown individuals, and just smaller than every other species in the kind of same groupings. Through a lot of studies on these miniature dwarf dinosaurs, he discovered that his estate and large parts of Transylvania used to actually be an island instead of part of the mainland like it is today. So the smallness of all of these dinosaurs was due to the island dwarfism phenomenon, where large animals tend to become small on remote and isolated islands. He was also one of the first people to propose the idea that modern birds are descended from dinosaurs, which wasn't widely accepted at the time, but is now the pretty much entirely accepted hypothesis. He was also one of the first people to propose that at least some dinosaurs were warm-blooded, which again is very widely accepted today, but wasn't during the time period. He was also responsible for the discovery of many, many types of prehistoric species, not just dinosaurs, one of them being this extinct turtle, which doesn't look very much like a turtle, but this is kind of the highest quality fossil image I could find. And this one in specific, he named after his lover, Doda. He named it, now I'm going to butcher this pronunciation, Kalokiboshin Bajazidi, close enough, which translates to the beautiful box of Bajazid, which is Doda's first name. Again, I am so sorry for the pronunciation, because apparently the fossils that he found reminded him of Doda's rear end. Now, the end of the war was not very kind to Transylvania, and the whole area was handed over to Romania and was now under Romanian control. And Franz lost pretty much everything. He lost his estate, he lost his castle, he lost most of his wealth, unfortunately. And the loss of his wealth and status and lifestyle, plus a few pretty serious health conditions, caused Franz to slip into a very, very heavy depression. And very unfortunately, in 1933, Franz put some sleeping pills in Doda's tea, and then shot both himself and his lover, and they unfortunately died. Obviously. Now, this is very tragic for a number of reasons. The kind of murder-suicide and the loss of one of the greatest paleontologists and paleobiologists of the time. Also, it was very uncommon to be openly homosexual during that time period, so it wasn't really, like, advertised that Franz and Doda were an official couple. It was described as him and his very close male friendship with his secretary, but kind of everybody knew that they were together. So it would have been quite difficult in that time period. But despite everything, he did make a lot of incredibly important contributions to the field of paleontology and paleobiology, with both his theories about warm-bloodedness in birds and the discovery of miniature dinosaurs, and the discovery of many other species. And he is overall a very, very interesting character from history that I've only really seen mentioned in one source, my, dinosaur book, which I've been using as a reference for a lot of this video, and I think that it is a massive shame that he's not more well known, especially in this day and age, because he had such an interesting life.